Hello everyone, thank you for joining me today for this short session where we'll be talking about Power Framework's Schedule Hub for Microsoft Project. So the promise of a new lease of life for your Microsoft project plans, and that's what I'm going to tell you about today. Brief introduction, I am Gero Renke, I'm one of the co-founders of Power Framework. We've been in the market for over 20 years implementing project and portfolio management solutions in the Microsoft platform, as well as enterprise risk management. And the key applications that we have in the marketplace are Power Framework PPM and Power Framework Risk. Power Framework's Schedule Hub for MS Project is, in a sense, a sub-module of Power Framework PPM. It's designed to integrate with it, but it is a standalone solution, and I look forward to giving it an outing today for the first time, as we have just launched it. Let me provide some context first. Why have we conceived Schedule Hub for Microsoft Project? And the trigger for this really is the imminent retirement of Project Online. And let us briefly review what Project Online is about. It allowed project managers to maintain their Microsoft project schedules and store them in Project Online as a cloud repository for all project plans. And then what Project Online would do when we publish project plans, it would extract the data into enterprise database tables that are included with Project Online. And now that the data has been extracted from all of these individual project plans, it is available for viewing, for reporting, for integration. We can do something with the data. We have visibility across all of these project plans that we're maintaining within our Project Online solution. Also, Project Online has an enterprise resource pool, and anyone who has been using projects in the Project Online context knows that there's a build team feature that allows us to put enterprise resources to work in our project, pull them into our project, assign them work, and the work assignments, again, are published to enterprise database tables in Project Online, and this is the foundation for resource management. So, Project Online solves that need for an enterprise view of all of these individual project plans. Rather than project managers maintaining their schedules in individual desktop files that are disconnected, that we can't get to, Project Online brings all that data in. Now, with the imminent prospect of Project Online retirement in September 2026, all of that enterprise context is lost. That enterprise platform is gone, and that leaves certain challenges for anyone who wishes to continue with Microsoft Project as a scheduling tool. So clearly, what we may be left with is the need to store our project plans in individual files, .mpp files. Microsoft Project as a desktop planning tool survives the retirement of Project Online. So Microsoft Project continues to be available, but it stores its data in individual files. And we have no way of aggregating data from these files. We also we do have a way of sharing resources about projects, across standalone project files, but it's really quite an awkward experience that people don't really like to use. And of course, with all of this, we don't have instant visibility of individual project plans to the enterprise. So if we do have a PMO that wishes to apply some governance to these project plans and making sure that they're up to scratch and they're being tracked appropriately and so on, they have to find all these individual plans and open them up in Microsoft Project because they have no visibility otherwise, and that is clearly challenging. there's also no ready-made concept for integrating these individual project plans with project portfolio management solutions. Since they're now, sitting standalone in individual files, how do we extend those with, let's say, risk and issue logs or information about the project and status updates and all this other content that we typically see in a PPM tool? Now, Microsoft will tell us there is an answer, and that is Microsoft Project Server SE Subscription Edition. So this is Microsoft's official advice nowadays. If you want to retain Microsoft Project as a scheduling tool, then migrate to Project Server. However, for a lot of our customers, this is not an option. There is a very simple reason. It's quite an expensive solution, and it is complex. It requires quite a lot of expertise in building the infrastructure and installing it. And with all of that, though, there is an uncertain remaining product life. So we do not have certainty that Project Server is even going to be around for another, say, 5 years. And Project Server is not in the cloud. And certainly for a lot of our customers who have a strategy of Microsoft Cloud first, well, it's clearly not within that strategy, because it is about building infrastructure in your own either physical data center or using something like Azure server infrastructure, but it is your own private infrastructure rather than Microsoft 365 cloud. And frankly, Project Server is ancient, much like Project Online. It is not compatible with the modern Microsoft technology stack. So it is certainly there is a feature equivalent between Project Online and Project Server. That's certainly true. And the user experience would be very, very similar. So in that respect, Microsoft Project Server does offer an alternative, but for these reasons given, a lot of our customers simply won't go there. But yet, a lot of our customers do want to continue using Microsoft Project. And there is a bunch of reasons for that. It's obviously a long-standing industry standard. Microsoft Project has been around for over 30 years. Most professional project managers know how to use it. It is pretty much a standard tool across all sorts of different industries, and certainly embedded in sectors where we do need more sophisticated scheduling. A shared planning language is supported through Microsoft Project. Critical path and baselines, dependencies, and lots of other of those terms were standardized through Microsoft Project, and people understand them through the tool. And it is often still the tool of choice when schedules must withstand scrutiny and audit and so on. It is good at handling very large schedules, and it's certainly been the target of organizational investment for years and years. So there is a lot of expertise where people have invested in training and so on, but also templates that we're using and processes built around Microsoft Project schedules. So if we were to migrate to other tools, then that is a piece of work that we're adding to the whole workload of migrating away from Project Online. And let's just make the point that while Project Online is being retired, I've said it already, Microsoft Project will remain, and we can still use it on the desktop, and it is still fit for purpose compared to other tools in the Microsoft platform, for example, like Planner or Planner Premium, which you may be aware of. Is a more lightweight planning tool, which is much better, arguably, at collaboration and sharing work with team members in the enterprise and so on. Certainly, Planner has its own strength, but for these reasons given, Microsoft Project still is trusted. And as I say, a lot of our customers want to continue using Microsoft Project, and they they want to bring their project across, maybe have hundreds of projects that are currently in delivery, and those Microsoft project schedules have to go somewhere, and ideally not into individual disconnected MPP files stored on the project manager's desktop. For that reason, we've come up with Schedule Hub for MS Project. So the tagline, A New Lease of Life for MS Project, is essentially about providing that enterprise context again for Microsoft project plans in the cloud. So it's about extracting, much like Project Online did, Microsoft project schedule data into an enterprise cloud database, and with that enabling viewing and reporting. We also do want to have an easy facility of connecting plans back to a shared resource pool as the foundation for resource management. We want to provide reporting from this data, and we're going to be using Dataverse, the database of the Microsoft Power Platform, as the enterprise foundation for all of this. And with that, we are going to be able to extend all this to full project portfolio management. So, or certainly we have the opportunity to do that. We don't have to. Schedule Hub is a standalone application, but with that we are laying the foundation to integrate with the PPM tools that you yourself might be building in the Power Platform or that exist in your ecosystem already. Certainly for us, it's about integration with Power Framework PPM, our ready-made project portfolio management solution in the Microsoft Power Platform. Okay, so let's have a look at the underlying concept before we go into the demo of this particular tool. So this looks a little bit like my earlier Project Online schema, where we have a staging area of storing Microsoft project schedules, and you can see that here on the left, and we're actually using SharePoint for this, and SharePoint Online is ideal for this, and we'll explore why, but it is of course a cloud container, a cloud repository where we can store our individual Microsoft project plans. Now, one of the key features of Schedule Hub is an extraction service that automatically kicks in and will take the data from these project plans that we're storing in a Schedule Hub SharePoint library and extract it out into a variety of tables that are stored in Dataverse. Dataverse, the database of the Power Platform, really Microsoft's most modern architecture for digital transformation, enabling low-code application development, easily now push the data into Power BI reporting. Dataverse also is the place where we can extend through AI, Copilot features, and so on, automations with Power Automate. All of that has Dataverse really at the heart of it. So Dataverse, as the database of the Power Platform, uniquely versatile, is a great place to extract our data. And with that, we're enabling viewing and reporting, integration, extension, but also archiving of data. And you also see that we will have an enterprise resource table again in Dataverse that Microsoft Project can connect to, and we'll be able to build our teams, populate our resource sheet in Microsoft Project with resources that are held centrally, and with that we can connect work assignments from all of these different projects to individual resources and understand their total demand, work demand from all of these projects, and compare that to their capacity and do resource reporting. At the bottom of the column on the right, you see Power Framework PPM, our full-fat organizational project portfolio management tool. So that's indicating that now that we have these schedules in a cloud database, we can connect them to PPM tooling to extend with risk and issues and status updates and so many other features that are delivered through that application. And with that, let me show you what it looks like. So we're going to go first of all into SharePoint. So you see here, and I'm sure most of you are familiar with SharePoint as a document management system. We have here a SharePoint library, and the documents in this library are in fact individual project plans. And SharePoint gives us lots of control, for example, in terms of access and security. We can, of course, lock this library down so that only authorized people can have access to this. We can apply controls so that Microsoft project plans can only be edited, let's say, by their owner or administrators and so on. So we can apply the whole security rules that you have, similar to a Project Online, can be configured in this, of course. We have the ability to create a new project plan from templates. And this, again, is an experience that you may be using in Project Online connected to enterprise project types, where project plan templates are automatically provisioned when a new project is created. And this is replicated here. So we have a separate library here for project plan templates. They are just project plans in their own right. So we just stick them here in the template library, and they become available as choices, if you like. If I say create or upload, create a project plan, then these templates are visible here. Now, these project plans themselves, if we look at some of the properties of these, we have version history. And this is a built-in property, again, of SharePoint that we can activate. So if I take this particular project, you can see here a whole history of versions over time from the initial creation, and we can see who modified it, and they checked it back in and left a new version of the project. They may have left a comment to document the nature of the change they made to the project. And the beauty is we can now restore an earlier project version. This is even something that Project Online has never allowed us to do. It did have no restore or backup facility out of the box, and a lot of our customers are just dead excited that there's going to be the ability to just restore an earlier version of a project plan after something's gone wrong. Okay, that is of course possible. And the key mechanism to maintaining these versions is also the concept of checking in and checking out. So you can see here, I can check out a particular project, and when I edit the project, it needs to be checked out. And this is a similar experience to Project Online as well. You may, of course, be well aware of the check-in and check-out feature in Project Online. So that's somewhat replicated here. And you can see here, this project is checked out. Here's another one that's checked out. The little down-facing arrow means that no one else can maintain this project while I am working on it. We are going to edit one of these project plans in a minute and see the effect that has. I want to show you the other side of this. So back to the schema of Schedule Hub, we've now discovered SharePoint on the left. We are going to be extracting the data into Dataverse. So let's have a look at what that looks like. And we are now going to share with you the Schedule Hub application that surfaces the extracted data. So this is a Power App. And this is really not an application that is necessarily going to be used by project managers and this sort of wider team. This is really aimed at the PMO to just monitor the actual data that's been extracted from these various project schedules. And you can see these projects listed here, and we'll be able to drill into those and review the extracted data. Okay, but we'll get back to that. Let's go back into SharePoint, and we're going to open up a particular project. So there we are. See, here is a project plan opened up and is prompting me to check it out. And this is a Microsoft project plan as you know and love it. There's nothing special about it. But we talked about the ability to pull resources in from a shared resource pool. And that's what I'm going to show you now. So within the Schedule Hub application, we can maintain this enterprise resource pool, as you can see here. So there's a bunch of resources here in my resource pool with a role definition. And this is as simple as it could be. It's literally just the name and the role. That's the data that we're really dependent on. And in Microsoft Project, I can now view that resource pool via a new add-on, the Schedule Hub add-on. You can see here, this is where we have a connection to the Schedule Hub database via a particular URL. And I can now manage those resources by connecting to that enterprise resource pool. I need to log in to do this. And then with that, I'm going to see a dialog that looks somewhat similar to a build team experience that you may remember from Project Online. And let's say I would like a business analyst to be added to my project. This is here now browsing the business analysts that I've defined in my resource pool. So if I apply a filter here, the business analysts that exist in my enterprise resource pool, I am now seeing in MS Project, and I am going to add maybe May to my project here. And I have the Show Resources button that gives me a view of all of the resources that I've loaded into my project from this shared enterprise resource pool. And with that, I can now give May some work. So we're going to say, here's some work for you, May. Please develop that initial business case, and we'll get you to define some scope of deliverables as well. And while we're at it, why don't we move the whole project? And we'll say now that this project is actually going to start in February. And with that, we are ready to check this project in and save it, of course, first of all. And as I'm closing it down, it's inviting me to check this project in. And what is now important is to understand the feature here, the version number, minor and major versions. You can store a minor version, but it will not be picked up by the extraction service. So this is much like storing a project in Project Online without publishing it. We can make work in progress updates to the project plan, and then at some point later, pick it up again, check it out again, do some more work, and then finally save it and check it in as a major version and leave some comments. Edit May fields to the resource sheet, and with that, check it back in. So in the SharePoint library, the most recently updated project is now showing here at the top. And if we are looking at the version history now, we can see the change that I've just made. And if anything about that is not to my liking and I want to reverse it and go back to an earlier version, I could do this by just restoring version 5.1 and do it all again if I wanted to. Now, by saving a major version, automatically in the background, all the data from that project plan is now going to be extracted. So we're jumping back into the Schedule Hub application. And equally here, if I sort this by the modified date, you can already see next generation robotic picking system project is showing at the top because it's already been updated by the extraction service, and the updates that we've applied in the project plan, they're already they've filtered across to this enterprise extracted data set, and you can see that the start date has already changed to February because that's the change that we've made. So let's drill into this. And the first thing, as we're landing here on the home page, is what we're seeing, an example of a Power BI report. And all of the data that is being extracted ends up in a Power BI data model. So all of our task information and everything else is going to be subject to reporting using Power BI. One thing I need to explain, though, is that this Power BI data model will refresh from the data. So it's at this point not yet reflecting the change that we've just made. So that you can set the refresh rate as per usual with Power BI to be every hour. The data volumes that we're generating with this extract means that makes for a more performant Power BI experience if we let it extract the data and refresh itself periodically. So that's the first thing. All the data that is being harvested is available in Power BI. As we're exploring this particular project, the other thing we have here now is a viewer. So this particular viewer fulfills the need where people in the organization would like to see the full project plan, but maybe they are not licensed for Microsoft Project. They don't have MS Project on the desktop installed, but we want to give them a view of the full project plan. This is an easy way of seeing the plan itself. Of course, similar views could be created through Power BI as well, but this is something that's nice and easy to consume and built in. Now we have a whole lot of tabs that explain the detailed content that's come across from Project Online and has been extracted into Schedule Hub. We have overall project information, we have baselines. Well, we haven't baselined the project yet, so there's no content in here. We have custom fields. We have, of course, all our tasks. We have milestones. We have resources, and you can see May has just been added here. And if we had resource costs associated with these resources and had cost in the plan, then that would be reflected here and so on. What is interesting as well is that we can set audit history to be active, and that is a built-in capability within Dataverse to track any field changes and preserve the earlier field value, and giving us, a detailed history of what's changed. And so here you can see the most recent update changed by Paul Thomas. That happens to be my colleague whose user profile is running the extraction service. So in the real world, we would have a service account that would be called Schedule Hub Extraction Service, which has updated information about this project. So for example, we changed the start date. So you can see here the old start date was the 15th of December, and we changed it to the 2nd of February. Again, this is a facility that Project Online never offered. Who changed what wasn't a thing that was available within Project Online. So, this is really an application to inspect the data that has been extracted from all of these different project plans. And to be clear, when we look at task here, this is a view of all tasks across all projects that all end up in a single table. And of course, you can modify the view and pull in all of these different fields. If we were to open a particular project again, let's open this same project again and add a task column. You can see in Microsoft Project, these are all your standard task columns that exist in Microsoft Project's own data set. and that's what we pretty much all of them we've brought across into this enterprise database now, so that we can now do something with the data. And doing something with the data, as you said, a lot of that is about the reporting. And here you have an idea of a portfolio view that gives you a high-level view of how these projects sit within their timelines, similar to what is displayed in a Project Online Project Center. And we've created some little report features here to report on milestones that we're pulling out from different projects that are either overdue or that are about to come up. And of course, we can extract work by all sorts of different measures. And talking about work, and now that we've associated work with a shared resource pool, we can then, of course, make that available for enterprise reporting again. So this is the foundation for resource loading reporting. So here's my my different resources across the different roles, and the amount of demand that's coming in from the different projects versus capacity that we can also store to give us an idea of the shortfalls. And this is the basis for resource management, of course. When we talk about the real world experience of a project then extended through the full PPM features that we would like to see, that same project record could be augmented with risk and issue logs. So I'm showing you here some of the features that exist in our Power Framework PPM solution. We have stakeholder management, we have document management, we have status updates, we have highlight reporting, and so on. And the way that our project plans feeds into this is via the sort of key milestones that we're extracting from the Microsoft project schedule. So you can understand how Schedule Hub for MS Project sits integrated with a wider PPM tool. It's contributing, in this case, milestone information into the PPM tool. But equally, we could build in here the project viewer and so on. And Power Framework PPM itself then also allows us to integrate other projects with Planner, for example. So we have the ability to mix and match different scheduling tools, but where MS Project is meant to do the job for us, then obviously this Schedule Hub database is the driver for bringing all the data in so it can be extended. One other thing I want to point out as well is that when I open up a project here, the project manager could also be enabled to go back to the project right from within here. So I can open up that project with the Open Project button, and here it is. And again, so the checking out the project, making changes, checking it back in. The project manager at this point could actually sidestep the SharePoint library, and this project knows it's connected to SharePoint, and the Open Project file will open the plan in that way. And with that, hopefully you have a good idea what Schedule Hub is all about. I just want to summarize the benefits that this application delivers. It is certainly not a feature equivalent solution to Project Online, and that is not the idea. It is really dealing with the plan data content that we find in Microsoft Project, and the ability to bring that back into an enterprise context with a fairly lightweight cloud-based technology set. That is the idea. And with that, we can continue using Microsoft Project with confidence, without the need to invest in complex project server technologies. it's obviously a much lower cost of ownership, while still offering the ability to secure our project plans, to govern our project plans simply through the visibility that we have, and driving project plan data into enterprise reporting and analytics. And with that easy integration with PPM tools, it is quick to deploy. And by the way, all the data that we're extracting, we could make available for consumption by AI and co-pilot type experiences, so that you can talk to an AI agent about your project plan data, because now that it is in Dataverse, we can absolutely make that available to AI. And with that, I want to say thank you for your interest. If you would like a personal demo or discussion about how this solution may address your own challenges, then you're very welcome to get in touch with us via our website, the Contact Us page there at powerframework.com, and we'll be delighted to continue the conversation. Thank you very much.